Hi students, it's Mr. Weaver. This is a special screencast to specifically go over the pre-writing handout for the persuasive letter. So I just want to take you there. You go to your fifth period ComCom class. This should be familiar. Go to classwork, and you're going to see the letter pre-writing. Click on that, and here is the persuasive letter pre-writing. You'll see that there is a rubric. When this is finished, I'm going to use the rubric. I don't do it as you kind of go along. I can go on there and look at your letters anytime, so I can see that you have your topic and your position done by Wednesday, which is when it's due. But I wanted to go ahead and go over what I'm kind of looking for. And to do that, I started filling one out. Now, I did not fill it out the way that I would expect you to. I would expect you to have more. This is just kind of to keep me talking about a way to fill this out. So I'm going to do an example. Let's say I wanted to write a letter to Mr. Badenhop to start a bowling team, a junior high bowling team at Oakwood Junior High. So for my topic, I would write bowling team at Oakwood. My position, yes or for. Or you could say yay. Yes, in other words, I want that to happen. Let's say someone else were trying to start a bowling team and you didn't want it, then you would say bowling team at Oakwood, nay or no or against. Okay? So then here is just kind of a place for you to brainstorm some possible pros, reasons, topics, categories of yes, and some categories, some reasons why maybe people would be against having a bowling team. And think like an administrator. Think like Mr. Badenhop. How would that be difficult? How would that be not cost effective? How would that be not something he wants to spend his time on or not good for the students? So think about it that way over here, and then over here are the reasons why you think it would be beneficial. And you want to think, how can you spin this for Mr. Badenhop so that he would go along with it? So here are some things I wrote down. I would expect you to write this out a little bit more, but I put it's exercise, there's a social aspect to it, it's not expensive to bowl, and it's a lifelong sport. Those are some things I thought of. Some cons against it: it's off-site, it's not on Oakwood's campus, and you need a coach. Okay, there's probably others too, but we don't need to do a bunch of those because I don't want to dwell on all the negative. Now here, I didn't put a lot here because with introductions, it's really an art. You're trying to get his attention in a way that will get him to want to keep reading your letter in a positive way. So you could start with I could start with a little story about how when I was young, I used to go bowling, and it really bonded me with my family and friends, and I think that's something I could see helping at Oakwood Junior High. Perhaps there's a funny bowling joke you want to tell. Maybe you want to throw in a bunch of bowling puns, like there's a lot of pinheads in Oakwood who are striking out, so maybe you could spare them a little bit of your time and start a bowling league. Okay, that was really awful, but you heard all the puns. You could do something like that, and I know Mr. Badenhop enjoys puns, trust me. So anyway, there's lots of ways to get attention. You want to do that. Then maybe there's some background information about you. Hey, I've been in bowling leagues, or I love going bowling, or I'm a well-rounded person and I feel like there's something missing out, okay? Something like that. So I said I love to bowl, I've been in leagues, stuff like that. And then your claim. This is very specific. You want to be very direct in your claim, and this goes at the end of your introductory paragraph. So I wrote, Oakwood Junior High needs to start a bowling team. There you go. It's not that hard, okay? Now here, okay, are your body paragraphs. And so this is where you're writing notes about how you are going to persuade him with each paragraph. So paragraph 1, you would write a topic sentence here. I didn't write a whole sentence. You need a whole sentence. Okay, I just wrote exercise. The topic sentence might be, first of all, bowling is a great way to exercise and is so good, in fact, that it's a lifelong sport. That could be a nice topic sentence. Then you would go into the facts, the details. Maybe tell a story about the exercise you've had. Maybe you want to do a little bit of peripheral research. I'm not saying you have to delve into some academic journal about bowling, but I do think it's important that you know about the topic. Maybe you have some, at least anecdotal evidence that it's been beneficial at other schools. Maybe you do some research and see who else has bowling teams. in the local area. You might be surprised. So I haven't done all that research because I'm not the one doing this. I'm just assigning it. But maybe you would want to do that. And then for my second reason, I had social benefit. I could talk about how there's a lot of kids who maybe aren't the basketball and swimming type or wrestling type, which are the three winter sports right now. And I'm probably missing one, and I apologize. But maybe we need another sport in the winter, and bowling would be great for that. And you don't have to necessarily have the typical athletic body to be a really good bowler. You could also talk about socially, girls and boys can be just as good at bowling, and they can compete with one another in a really good way. It would be a good way to have a co-ed sport, a truly co-ed sport, where you have something like basketball. They're definitely going to separate the boys and the girls. So that might be a good social benefit. So you would write those kind of details here. You're brainstorming. You're writing those things down. Now, down here it says emotional appeal. This is where you talk about how, think of an emotional or what we call pathos. Okay, that's the appeal. Reason why he might want to do that. And I thought of, okay, well, you know what? I've been to a bowling alley before and watched super old guys kind of scoot up to the bowling line and bowl, and they're having a great time with their friends. And, that may have started when they were in high school. And just imagine the lifelong friendships that are going to be developed because we have this bowling team, right? Or you could use an emotional appeal of pride in our school and say, we need another banner that we can raise in our gymnasium in the pit to show more exploits of wonderful talent in our school. And so you could do something like that. That might be an emotional appeal. And then the counter arguments down here. This is where you're going to talk about, okay, look, even though there might be some things going against us, it's still a good idea. So you need to acknowledge that there is another side, to acknowledge that there is a counter, that there is going to be someone who disagrees. And that might be Mr. Badenhop. Say, look, Mr. Badenhop, I understand that this might seem a little bit unrealistic because we don't have a bowling alley at school, right? And the idea of taking kids to an off-site place to do sports doesn't sound good. But then you want to argue against it. You could say something like, however, we have a swimming team that goes to UD. Lane Stadium is practically off of Oakwood's property, and so we could definitely do a bowling team. That shouldn't be something that hinders us. So, and that's where I put the other spots. The rebuttal is your argument against what you acknowledge to be something that might hinder it happening. And then finally, in your conclusion, you just want to leave in a positive note. This might be a place where you compromise. Say, even if we don't have an actual varsity team, maybe we could start a league that could develop interest and eventually get into a varsity team. So a vision of Oakwood players going to a match. Maybe that's what you want to put in the conclusion. I don't know. So conclusion is a way to summarize and to cast that vision and to make that final appeal, that final claim. You're going to restate that claim and say, please, let's do this. Let's get this done. Contact me, something like that. So you can do that for whatever topic you have. This is for having a bowling team at Oakwood. By the way, if you pick this one, it better not be exactly like mine, or you're not getting credit, okay? But remember, there's a list of lots of brainstorming options here, or pick your own, okay? Pick one that you want something at school that's not there, or you want something changed at the school, then please, by all means, make that your topic and state your position, and then fill this out as well. This is not due until, this is my calendar here, this is not due until the 29th, right here. 29th, okay? So you're going to start kind of filling this out. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that right? Yeah, 29th. So you're getting introduced to it on Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday, your topic is due. And then you really start working on that pre-writing sheet up until the 29th when it is due. And then we're going to spend the 29th through the week after that, which would be May, I think 6th is when I'm going to have it due. Okay? So, but we'll get to that later. Have a wonderful day, and I hope that you're able to fill this out better with these instructions.